All right, so get ready because we're going to shake up what we all think we know about the king.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, right. We're doing a deep dive into Elvis today. But we're not talking about, the gold records and all the hits and everything. We're going deeper. We're going to go behind the scenes.
Like it.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about Graceland's archives.
Cool.
We have their director, Angie Marchuzzi, to guide us through. And we're uncovering some awards that even some hardcore fans might not know about.
Yeah, and I think that's what is so cool about these awards.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do give us a glimpse into Elvis's impact, like beyond just the music.
Beyond the music, yeah.
Yes, we're seeing how he was perceived by like different groups.
Right.
From, industry insiders to devoted fans to critics.
Right.
And you can kind of see how that perception changed over time. It's really fascinating.
That's very true. That's very true. And speaking of perceptions, did you know that Elvis actually won a bunch of awards for acting?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, don't picture like Oscars or anything,
Right.
but these awards actually, they still say a lot about his, star power back in the 60s.
Right, because back then, ticket sales were everything
Yeah.
for movie theaters. I mean, exhibitors, the theater owners, they knew that Elvis, he was a draw.
He brought in the crowds?
He brought in the crowds. Yeah, exactly.
The cash.
More popcorn, more soda, more cash. And so they started creating their own awards
Oh, interesting.
to recognize stars like Elvis, who were, putting people in the seats.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that explains the Laurel Award for Best New Power Star. He won that in 63
Oh, yeah.
on the set of Kissing Cousins. I actually saw a photo of him receiving this award.
Oh, that's great. It wasn't like, some big Hollywood ceremony or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just a direct recognition
Yeah.
from the people who saw firsthand,
Yeah.
like, his impact.
That's cool. I like that. Okay, so let's rewind even further
Okay.
to 62.
62.
Because this is when Elvis received the Up Close Award for Best Actor of the Year.
Now, this one is really interesting because it came from a fan magazine.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't even like the industry praising him.
Right.
It was the fans,
Wow.
the people who were buying his records and going to see his movies.
Right.
And it's kind of like early proof that Elvis' appeal, it went beyond just the music. Fans were starting to recognize his charisma on the screen as well.
It's like they knew, right? They
Yeah.
knew he was going to be huge.
Totally.
Speaking of huge, have you ever seen the trophy building at Graceland?
Oh, my gosh.
It is mind-blowing. It's not just gold records.
Wow.
It's walls and walls of awards.
Oh, it is amazing. And you know what's really cool about those awards?
Yeah.
Every single one of them was given to Elvis during his lifetime.
Wow.
None were added after he passed away,
Oh, that's really...
which just makes it, it makes it feel more real somehow.
Yeah, you can imagine him holding them.
Yeah.
And the weight of the recognition. Okay, so there are a few awards that really stood out to me.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
Yeah. First, the GG Awards from 16 magazine. And guess who was on their very first cover?
Oh, gosh, I think we both know Elvis.
Yes? May of 57.
Talk about a teen idol in the making.
Totally. Those GG Awards and his early magazine features, it really solidified him as the original heartthrob, really.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And speaking of fan power, we can't forget the awards from Cashbox magazine. Now, you might be thinking Cashbox,
The Hitchbox.
but back then, they were a major player.
Oh,
They
yeah?
were like the rival to Billboard.
That's right. Cashbox had their own charts and awards.
Yeah.
And they were very sought after in the music industry.
And some of the award titles, they're pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. What were some of them?
Okay. Most Programmed Country Album
Ooh.
and Most Programmed Country Vocalist.
Wow.
I mean, they're so specific to the time.
You know what's cool about those awards? They reflect fan demand.
Oh, interesting.
Because radio play and jukeboxes back then, those selections were heavily influenced by what the fans actually wanted to hear.
So the fans had a huge say in what became popular.
Absolutely. They were the ones driving the trends, they were buying the records, and they were plugging those jukeboxes.
They had all the power. Okay, so speaking of country music, this next one kind of threw me for a loop. Elvis won a ton of country awards from RCA. But some of these song titles, they don't really scream country to me. Moody Blue, Help Me.
Yeah.
Like, really?
It's a good reminder that Elvis's influence really went way beyond just one genre.
Right.
And it's worth noting here that he's one of the very few artists inducted into 4 major halls of fame: country, rock, gospel, and R&B.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. The only other artist who can claim that is Johnny Cash.
Wow. Talk about leaving a mark. Okay. Are you ready for my personal favorite?
Oh, yeah. Hit me.
Drum roll, please. The Norwegian Platinum Award.
Oh, yeah. That one's special.
By 1971, a third of the population of Norway owned at least one Elvis record.
Wait, a third. A third of the country.
I know, it's mind-boggling, especially considering...
That they don't even speak English.
I know.
I mean, that speaks volumes
Right.
about the universal appeal of his music.
Yeah.
I mean, it transcended languages.
Huge shout out to Norway for recognizing Elvis's global impact.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Just wow.
It really makes you think, like, what other artists could even hope to achieve that kind of reach? To connect with people on such a level, that they don't even share a language.
It's like his music spoke a language that everyone understood.
Yeah.
Like passion, rebellion, all these raw emotions that Elvis just embodied.
Exactly. And, this collection of awards, these hidden gems tucked away in Graceland, I mean, they tell a story that goes way beyond the hits and the sold-out shows and all of that. They paint a picture of his influence on fans, on the industry, and on the world.
It's like uncovering a secret history of Elvis, hidden in plain sight.
Totally.
And you know what? It makes you wonder, what other stories are waiting to be discovered? Oh, I'm sure there's tons. I mean, each award, each photo, every little piece of memorabilia in that trophy building.
Yeah.
It holds a story, a memory, a connection to Elvis's life and legacy.
It's a gold mine for any Elvis fan. Or anyone really who's interested in, music history.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It really shows that even if you think you know everything about Elvis, there's always more to learn.
Right.
There's always more to explore.
Speaking of exploring, let's take a virtual tour of Graceland.
Yes, let's do it.
Angie was kind enough to share some photos of these awards with us.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. I'm dying to see that Norwegian Platinum Award up close.
Me too. Too.
So let's start with the Laurel Awards. Here's Elvis on the set of Kissing Cousins receiving that award for Best New Power Star.
Oh, look at that grin. He seems so thrilled. I mean, he's really genuinely thrilled to be receiving recognition from the exhibitors.
He looks so young and fresh-faced in this photo.
I know.
And here's the Up Close Award, presented to him on the set of Viva Las Vegas.
Right, this one's from that fan magazine.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that fans recognized his acting ability so early on?
It's like they saw something special.
Yes.
That was, more than just the music.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the GG Awards from 16 magazine.
Oh, yes.
Remember, Elvis was on their very first cover. Talk about iconic.
Talk about iconic. I know, these awards really capture that teen idol craze, the excitement.
Oh, yeah.
His power over young audiences.
Yeah. And here are a few of the Cashbox Awards, highlighting his popularity on the radios and jukeboxes across the country.
And remember, those awards were driven by fan requests.
Wow.
So it really highlights, the power that fans had even way back then.
That's amazing.
To shape the music scene.
And we can't forget those 18 Golden Boot Awards presented to Elvis by RCA for all those country hits.
Oh, right.
And I'm still kind of wrapping my head around some of those songs being considered country.
I know, right? Moody Blue.
Right.
It's just his versatility.
Yeah.
I mean, he could seamlessly blend genres and connect with all kinds of people.
And last but not least, the pièce de résistance, the one that stole my heart.
Let's see it.
The Norwegian Platinum Award. Look at this beauty.
Oh, wow. It's really one of a kind,
It is.
And the inscription. By 1971, a third of the population of Norway owned at least one Elvis record. I mean, how many artists can claim that kind of legacy?
Not many. It's a testament to his global reach.
Yeah.
His ability to just connect with people.
Absolutely.
Across, cultures and languages and everything.
And it makes you wonder, what would Elvis think about his legacy today?
Yeah.
All these years later.
What do you think? Do you think he'd be surprised by how, his enduring popularity?
I think he'd be humbled by it, by the love and devotion he still receives from fans all over the world.
Yeah.
But I also think that he'd be proud of how his music has touched so many lives.
I agree. Elvis was clearly more than just a singer, more than just an entertainer. He was like a cultural icon, a symbol of rebellion and change and everything. And his music just continues to inspire and move people to this day.
Absolutely. And these awards, these hidden gems from the archives at Graceland, I mean, they offer a glimpse into that legacy.
Yeah.
A deeper understanding of his impact on the world.
It's a good reminder that there's always more to learn.
Yes.
More to discover, even about someone who's seemingly as well known as Elvis Presley.
Exactly. And I think, for our listeners, the key takeaway here is to never stop exploring.
Right.
To always be curious and never underestimate the power of music.
Totally.
To connect us all.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen all these awards, we kind of heard these stories, but what does this all mean for our listeners? Like, why should we even care about all these, obscure trophies that are kind of just gathering dust in Graceland's trophy building?
Well, I think it encourages us to, dig a little deeper,
Right.
to look beyond just the surface, even with someone like Elvis, who, is so iconic.
Yeah.
These awards kind of reveal a different side to his career,
Yeah.
one that often gets overshadowed by, like, the hits and the fame.
It's almost like we're piecing together a puzzle, right?
Exactly.
And each award is like another piece to the bigger picture of, Elvis's impact.
And it reminds us that, everyone, even the biggest stars,
Yeah.
they all have stories beyond their most well-known accomplishments.
Yeah.
There's always more to discover
Yeah.
if you're willing to look.
It's like, don't judge a book by its cover.
Totally.
Or, rock star by his blue suede shoes, right?
Exactly.
But these awards, they really show us a fuller picture
They do.
of who Elvis was, not just as a performer,
Yeah.
but like as a, cultural force.
Absolutely. And, for all the Elvis fans out there listening,
Ugh.
I highly recommend taking a virtual tour of Graceland.
Oh, yeah.
Or, even better, go visit in person.
Yeah.
Seeing these awards in context,
Yeah.
surrounded by all the other, pieces of Elvis's life, I mean, it just adds a whole new dimension to the experience.
It really does. It's amazing how these seemingly like small details, they can just shed so much light on a much larger story.
Oh, yeah. And you never know. You might even stumble upon, like, an award or a story that we haven't even heard of.
That's true. There's always something new to discover, whether it's about Elvis or anything really that sparks our curiosity.
That's right.
And that's what I love about doing these deep dives. It's not just about like learning facts.
No?
It's about exploring the connections, the unexpected, twists and turns that make history so fascinating.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And I think for our listeners, the takeaway here is, never stop exploring.
Yeah.
Keep that curiosity alive and just don't underestimate the power of, like, digging a little deeper.
Yeah.
You never know what treasures you might find.
Well said. Well said. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Elvis's, hidden accolades, what's one thought you'd like to leave our listeners with?
That's a good one. I think I'd challenge our listeners to consider this.
Yeah.
What do these awards, like beyond the specific recognition, tell us about the relationship between artists and their fans? Like, how has that relationship changed over time? And, what does it look like today? Just something to think about,
Ooh, I like that. It makes you think about how fan culture really has shaped the music industry.
Yeah.
Even from Elvis's early days, and how that influence just continues to evolve even now.
Exactly. And that wraps up our deep dive into Elvis's obscure awards.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed the journey
Yes.
as much as we did.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep exploring. We've kind of gone through Graceland's archives, right? We've unearthed all these hidden awards, but
Yeah.
I have a question that's still lingering in my mind.
Oh, okay. What's that?
What do these awards actually tell us about Elvis the person? Like we see the musician, the actor,
Right.
the
Yeah.
icon, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a deeper layer here.
I think you're right. I think it highlights how important it is to kind of look beyond the surface.
Yeah.
Even with someone as well known as Elvis.
Right.
I mean, these awards offer a more personal perspective,
Yeah.
a glimpse into his relationships, with his fans, with the industry, with the world around him.
It's like each award is like a little window into his life.
Yeah.
It's showing us how he was perceived and appreciated by different groups.
Exactly. The Fan Magazine Awards show us his connection with the audience.
Right.
The industry awards show how his peers valued his talent.
Right.
And the international awards just highlight his global impact.
It makes me wonder, like, what Elvis would even think about being remembered for these more obscure awards. The ones that maybe didn't get as much attention as, like, the Grammys or the gold records.
That's really interesting. I think maybe it would remind him of the breadth of his impact.
Yeah.
How his influence went so far beyond the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
These awards represent kind of a different legacy,
Yeah.
One that's built on personal connections and kind of this heartfelt recognition.
Yeah. And maybe that's the most valuable kind of legacy, the
Yeah.
one that's rooted in, genuine appreciation from people who were touched by his music and his performance, his
I
presence.
couldn't agree more. It's a great reminder that even like the smallest gestures of recognition can have a really profound impact for both the giver and the receiver. It's about those moments of connection,
Yeah.
those sparks of appreciation
Yeah.
that go beyond time and circumstance.
That's beautifully said. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to kind of leave our listeners with a challenge, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Think about those hidden gems in your own life.
Hmm.
Like what stories are just waiting to be unearthed? What connections are, worth celebrating?
Yeah.
Maybe it's an old photo that sparks a forgotten memory,
Yeah.
a letter from a friend that reminds you of a, special bond,
Hmm.
or even just a simple object that holds
Yeah.
sentimental value.
Right, right.
It's about taking the time to appreciate those seemingly small details because they often reveal a much richer story, a deeper connection
Yes.
to the people and experiences that have shaped our lives.
And those are the stories worth sharing.
Yes.
The ones that remind us of the beauty and the richness that's all around us, just waiting to be discovered.
So go forth and explore.
Yes. Dig into those old boxes, reconnect with those people, and uncover the hidden gems that make your story, unique and meaningful.
That is the perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Elvis's lesser-known awards. We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have.
Until next time, keep those minds curious and those hearts open to the wonders that await.